Hello guys, I have a tutorial here on Home Talk that I did last year, and it was shared again this year, and it's been very popular. It's gotten almost 500,000 views and a ton of comments, and everybody keeps commenting on how they wish there was a tutorial for this one, a video tutorial. So I wanted to go ahead and do it again this year and show you guys how I make these pumpkins. They're really cool. They're just foam pumpkins. I did not use real pumpkins, so they do last forever. These ones are the foam. You can use the plastic. That works just as well. So you're just going to have some fun and put some paper clay molds on a foam pumpkin. Very simple. The paper clay, it dries rock hard, so it's durable, and they come out so cute. I love the way that they look. You do them in any color. I use Frenchic paints, and this exact one is Wise Old Sage, and then we'll be using the same gold, so you'll see what that is. So I'll show you guys on a smaller pumpkin, not the large one, just so I can do a quick tutorial here and show you guys how I do it. I'm going to be using a Frenchic paint called Velvet Crush. Now this is a wall and trim paint, but you can also use it on furniture, whatever projects you have. I just really like the color. It's a soft purple color. So I'm going to show you guys this color. See that color? Gotta stir it a little bit, but overall it's ready to go. So just stir it up a bit here. Sometimes with the chalk and mineral paints, it'll settle a little bit down at the bottom, so you just want to kind of stir that up a bit and get it mixed up again. Your favorite brush and paint your pumpkins. Simple first process. With the pumpkins, you know, it might take a couple of coats just because they usually are some bright colors. I know that they do make some pumpkins that are like already white or whatever color you're looking for, but I just find it easier to paint them. These foam pumpkins can actually be quite expensive for what they are, so I always try to find the cheapest ones and go from there. Walmart has some good prices, so pick out whichever pumpkins you like. I have not tried this on the plastic, but I don't see why you couldn't. So you're just going to paint your pumpkin. Probably 2 coats here is what it's going to take. You can see it's still peeking through there a little bit. So I'm going to let this dry, add a second coat, and then I will be back. Okay, on to step 2 now. I have the painted pumpkin here. This was Velvet Crush from the wall and trim paint from Frenchic. It's the first time I've ever used this range from Frenchic. I am a retailer, so everything is available in my Etsy shop, but I usually stick with the original, lazy, and alfresco ranges. So this is the first time I've ever used it, and I really like this paint. I have 0 brush marks on here. It has a really nice satin sheen to it. You can tell it's definitely scrubbable, so I'm definitely going to be using this on some furniture for sure. There's not many colors available in this range, maybe about a dozen or so. There's the blues, the greens, whites, tans, beiges, creamy off-whites. So it's all of the normal colors that we do have available, and they are everything that I use is in the Etsy shop or wood glue, that kind of thing. You can get at Lowe's. So once your pumpkin is painted, put it to the side. Now we're going to move on to making our paper clay appliques using Redesign with Prima Decor molds. Now these molds, I'm going to stick with the roses. So this is fragrant roses and wilderness roses. And what you need is your Prima Decor molds. There's, you know, dozens to choose from. Then your paper clay, wood glue, and some cornstarch, and then a couple of brushes to use. I do like the paper clay the most, just because I feel like it shrinks the least amount of all the different clays. So I definitely like that one the most. So your first step is going to be your cornstarch. Get some cornstarch onto a nice fluffy brush, and then you are going to just put it in the mold. Just dab it on there. Okay, and now you don't want it to really bunch up anywhere. You don't want a bunch, so I like to just kind of tap off all that excess. Okay, and you're going to grab some of your paper clay, warm it up a little bit in your hands. I like to just play with it a little bit. Okay, warm it up. Bit. Now let's see, we'll start with just a plain rose. We're going to really press it in there. Now if it doesn't stick very well in the mold, it's just because of the paper clay. That's okay. Keep pressing down. It will eventually stay in there. Make sure you get all of the excess clay off before you remove the clay out of the mold. It's much easier to get it off beforehand rather than once it's out of the mold. So get all the excess out. Make sure the edges are nice and crisp. Now the one thing to remember with paper clay, it does crack as it dries. So if you're looking for a perfect look, you're going to want to go with a resin epoxy, something like that. My favorite resin that I use is, I get it off of Amazon, but I do believe it might be available at Hobby Lobby or someplace like that. It's called Amazing Resin, and the one that I like, they make two different kinds, but the one that I get, it dries in just a few minutes. It's the 2-part epoxy, and you mix it according to the directions, and then you don't need the cornstarch. You just pour it right into the silicone molds, let it dry for a few minutes, and pop it out. And that is going to show all of the details very crisp, versus the paper clay where it's not going to be as perfect. It's going to look more aged, which I actually like. So once you have your paper clay in there, I'm going to flip it over and peel it back while pressing down, so that way the paper clay just kind of pops right out. Okay, and then you're going to gently pick it up and flip it over. Now this is where you wood glue. You're going to dip your brush into the wood glue and just paint the back of it with wood glue. Now be careful not to put too much on there, because you will be sticking it onto the pumpkin, and so it's going to ooze out if you have too much, and you don't want to be cleaning up a bunch of wood glue. It does adhere pretty well, so you don't need a ton on there. Just cover the whole thing in a very thin film. Okay. You're going to take your pumpkin and put your rose wherever you want it, and press down all around those edges. Lightly press, because you don't want to put indents into the clay. Just lightly press on it. Now sometimes, especially when there's a lot of glue, it's not going to totally adhere to the pumpkin, and it's going to slide. If if I put it like this, it might end up just sliding down. So I'm going to leave it laying on its side like this while I make more. I'm just going to leave it right like that. That way. So now we'll go on and make our other ones. So let's see, which one do I want next? Do a couple of the leaves. I like to do the leaves. Make sure that you have your cornstarch in there. Clay. warm it up. Press it on in there. Another one too, they'll be next to it. Do a couple of them at the same time. There we go. And then you're going to flip it. And slowly let them pop out. You can help them along if they don't come out easily. You can just kind of press down a little bit and help them to come out. Okay. Then you want your wood glue. Start with one. You want to make sure that you really get that wood glue on the edges, because that's the main place that you want to adhere well. So I first put it upside down, and now I have the glue right there. So what I'm going to do is just wipe that off, and if you do get a lot, you can take the brush that you used for the cornstarch, just go along and kind of remove that there. This can get a little bit messy, especially with me, because I am, don't take my time very much. I'm not patient. So I just keep going even though there's glue all over my fingers. You can overlap them. So I just put that a little bit over the one side of that rose. And then you would just continue on and keep going however you want, wherever you want to put them. There is no right or wrong here. You can see here I have, you know, the bunch of them that I put overlapping each other. And then I have it where there's just a couple here. These are the bell orchids. So you can do this however you want. Put as many or as little as you want. So I'm going to go ahead and fill up this pumpkin with the molds, and then I will be back once they are dry to show you how I put the gold on them. Okay, we're going to go on to the next step now. All the paper clay molds, they are completely dry. They are rock hard. So we can go ahead and paint these. Now I did end up adding another silicone mold here. This one here is from the Winter Bloom Decor mold, the Winter Blooms. This is one of my favorite ones. I absolutely love, especially this big flower. It's a little too big for this pumpkin, but it's one of my favorites. So I did do that one. So I had the three molds, the Wilderness Roses, the Fragrant Roses, and Winter Blooms are the three silicone molds that I used for this pumpkin. So now once your paper clay is dry, you are going to paint them with your base color. I used the Frenchic wall and trim paint that can also be used on furniture. This color is Velvet Crush, a very pretty purpley color. So what you do is you're just going to come through with a detailed brush and you're going to paint the molds. You want to make sure that you get in all of the little details, the sides, the whole thing. You definitely want to get in there and make sure that none of that white paper clay is showing. Super easy. Just get in there. Should only need the one coat, regardless of what paint you're using. Should adhere pretty well. So you just make sure you get in there and do the whole thing, and then I'll be back and we'll do the gold. Okay, we are going to go on to the last step. This is where you're going to add the metallic touches to your pumpkin. Now this pumpkin has all of the molds, it's painted, ready to go. I got all of the, little crevices, details, all of that good stuff. So this one's ready to go. What you're going to want is your favorite water-based top coat. This is a 4-ounce container. I poured maybe an ounce of my water-based sealer into here. I use Frenchic finishing coat. It's perfect for decoupage, for sealing your painted pieces, mixing with the pigments. I use it for everything. So, that can be found in my Etsy shop, the Frenchic finishing coat, but you can use whatever water-based sealer you normally use. Then you're going to want your Frensheen. It's the Gorgeous Gold and the Silver. I mix these two. It's more Gorgeous Gold and just a little bit of the Sexy Silver, but it gives me a champagne color. I feel the gold is too bright, too brassy for me. So I like to add just a little bit of the silver to tone it down a little bit. Now these pigments they're beautiful. Very shimmery, metallic in them. They're great. So I really like the look that you can get with these. And it comes in 5 different colors. So you have the gold and the silver here. Then we also have the copper, the bronze, and a green. So you can mix them, make, whatever shade you'd like. So what you're going to do is you got your about an ounce of your sealer. And then you're going to just add the pigments. Now I like my metallic glaze to be a little bit thicker than most, so I add a little bit more of the pigment, the powder, and then you just mix really, really well. And so I just kind of gauge it by what it looks like. I don't actually measure anything. So I wanted to mix it on video so you guys can see kind of about how much I actually add into here. Let me grab a paper towel real quick to wipe that off. I want to add a little bit more. Now this is still my original jar of pigment, the Gorgeous Gold. I opened that probably about, I don't know, 9 to 12 months ago I opened that, and I use this a lot, but a little bit goes a long way. So this jar, this little, looks like now we're at about half of it, so 2 ounces of the glaze. This is going to last me quite some time. Okay, so that's about right. That's the consistency that I like. Make sure it's mixed well. So now you can see that gold, how it's really like orangey, that brassiness. I don't care for that so much. So wipe that off. gold away. Of course, I made a mess. Always do. Okay, now we're going to add a little bit, not much, of the silver. We'll start with one and see what we get then. See if that's enough. We might need more. That's looking better. There we go. Okay. And again, if you don't like the color that you got, you can go again. I'm going to add too much of the silver now, so I'm going to add just a little bit more of the gold. Again, I don't measure. I just kind of go until I like it. So it looks like you'd want about one of the heaping popsicle sticks of the silver to go into the gold. Not much. Okay. Perfect. So I'll close them both up. Let's go for the color that you like. And then once you have the one that you like, and we're ready to go. So what I like to do is just put a little bit of the metallic glaze on a very small brush. You want the brush to be kind of fluffy, and then just go right over the tops. That way you still have some of that purple peeking through. You're just going over those top details. It makes it look aged and like it's an older design. This is also how I do my hardware. Do it all the same way. If it's painted, I'll paint the poles and then I just kind of go over it with my Frensheen like this. And now the Frensheen you can also mix with wax. I've mixed it in with paint even. I've gotten myself a metallic-y paint color. So you can use this stuff for so many different things. It's one of my favorite products that Frensheen makes. Okay. And you just go over the whole thing, all of your paper clay appliques. And allow that to dry. You can go, you know, put on as much or as little as you'd like. There's no right or wrong here. You can really see how that brings out those details. I love the way these look. So I'll finish this all up, but I just wanted to give you guys that quick video to see just how I do these pumpkins. You know, you can group it in colors, different colors. I like the, you know, different colors together, like this purple and this green. They look great together. You can add in a blue. So I like to do them in pairs or threes. And they look beautiful on a centerpiece of your table, on, you know, your hallway table. They're perfect. And again, they're going to last forever. The paper clay is not coming off, so you know you're gonna have these for quite some time. One more thing, I do also like to paint the stems with the metallic, so you're just gonna real quick go over it. And then even with the stems, I do like to leave some of that original color, that brown that the stems usually are. I like to leave some of that popping through too. So that way you can really, you know it's a stem. Okay. Just like that. And this stuff dries pretty quickly. It's pretty much almost already dry. Okay, if you guys have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me. I will be making more of these, and they will be in my Etsy shop along with all of the products that you've seen me use here. We carry Frenchic furniture paint and, you know, the Frensheen, the waxes, all that good stuff. We carry Redesign with Prima, all of the transfers, the molds, stencils, the waxes, the decoupage papers. We carry all that stuff, and then we also carry Redesign. That is the liquid wood product. So they just came out with a new product that has this stain in it, so it's a one-step product, really cool. So all that stuff is available in my Etsy shop, which will be linked below. And if you guys, again, if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out. I would love to answer them and chat with you guys. Thanks for watching.